Hello everyone, Kent Bressler here. I want to welcome you to Kent's Kidney Stories. During our time together over these podcasts, I'd like to discuss kidney disease. I'd like to tell you about my journey as a transplant patient, but also talk about dialysis, kidney donation, and just about anything else that might be of interest. Kent's Kidney Stories, a podcast endorsed and sponsored by KidneySolutions.org. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. And I always like to start with a short prayer. It sets me in good standing with myself and with others. So here we go. Father God, we come to you in search of peace and understanding with thanks in our hearts. We ask that you look after all of our friends who are on the waiting list for a kidney transplant. Give them the strength and the stability to trust in your love and guidance. Amen. So I wanted to talk to you today just a little bit about my journey since I was transplanted 32 years ago. Some of it is a little bit frosty on my mind, but I do remember quite a few things. So I wanted to talk about making decisions. And I think that when I look back at my timing, when I had first been diagnosed with FSGS, I had no earthly idea how long this was going to take. And a lot of your kidney diseases, they're not all the same. They're very different in the nature of which they travel. Some of them can be very quick, as it is an acute kidney injury, or it can take years like it did with me to progress to renal failure where you need to have a transplant. And all that time in between that journey and the time you have a transplant is time that you need to be thinking about how you're going to get that transplant. You don't wait till you get to renal failure. You want to start early. And so that's part of the decision process that I want to talk about. And my decision was really easy because I knew I wasn't going to go to dialysis. And at first I felt pretty good. Initially in my illness, I didn't know I had kidney disease. And as it progressed, though, we started therapy, which in case of FSGS, it was having a high dose of steroids. You took a lot of prednisone to try to suppress or kill the illness. Well, when you take high doses of this type of medication, this prednisone or steroids, it does mess you up. It creates a heavy toll on your body. I can tell you from experience that I was moody. I had a lot of bad thoughts. And I wasn't really a good person to be around. And that's part of the process of some people react differently. Everybody reacts differently. But in general, prednisone masks a lot of things, and one of them is behavior and attitude. And I wanted you to know that that's okay. You need to just be aware of that. Don't be frightened of it. And then you make adjustments in your daily routine. But as I went along and as I worked through this steroid, what I call steroid bombardment, there were a lot of medical things that happened. And one of the worst things that really happened was that I had a lot of sores on my mouth, and I got sores inside my mouth. And in general, it was just not a good feeling. And so after talking to my nephrologist, Dr. Mulgrew, he felt that it was time to reduce the amount. And you can't just come off steroids now. Bear in mind, if you're on them, you just don't stop them. You've got to reduce them. And I was at one point on 100 milligrams of prednisone a day. As a matter of fact, my max dose was 110. And I stayed on that for about 2 weeks. And then we started down on it because it was pretty hard to take. And so bear in mind, if you're on prednisone, you don't just stop taking it. And that's the takeaway from that. The other part of it is the decision process. What are you going to do? you have to monitor yourself very closely. You also have to be able to ask questions. And you want to make a decision, you need to be in the forefront of being that decision maker. So that's really the topic for the day. Advocating for yourself is the point I want to make here. Now, I talk about the point of being aggressive. I never did, and I don't think it's wise for you to not step up and take care of yourself. Every aspect of this illness is lethal. Let me tell you, you want something, get kidney disease if you want to see progression, because it can progress, and it will progress in most people differently. And so you have to know what your treatment is going to be. You have to know what kind of treatment's available. But most of all, you've got to be willing to accept it and go by the doctor's recommendation. These doctors don't go to school just to get smart. They go to get enough knowledge to help you through this process, and they've got plenty of experience. So if you're going to go to a physician, you're going to go to a nephrologist, and he has insight into what you should be doing, I would recommend you follow it, or there's really no use going. We can go into many aspects of kidney disease and talk about all the blood work that gets drawn and the lab work and what the values are, and that'll come at a later date. But I want you to know that everything that happens to you happens for a reason. I'm not talking about symptoms. I'm talking about what the doctors have in store for you, blood work and being able to monitor your condition and then follow your kidney function. And there are tests like creatinine and GFR that follow the course of your illness. And you need to know about those. You know, don't just rely on the doctor to tell you what it is and then go on your merry way. You need to know. You need to know about every aspect of your disease process, whether it be nutrition or whether it be, you know, following an insulin regime if you're a diabetic. But it's up to you. Let me tell you, you advocate for yourself, but you also take care of yourself. Don't rely on your spouse. They're good helpers, but they're not responsible for your health. You're responsible for that. And I think that's probably the best takeaway of this talk about advocating for yourself. Stick up for yourself. If you don't like what's going on or you don't understand what's going on, back away and ask a question. If it sounds dumb to you, it won't sound dumb to anybody else because they don't know what question you're going to ask. So ask it. And once you've asked that question and you get an answer and you're not happy with that answer, ask for an explanation. The time you spend with your physician or with your social worker or with the nurse, that is your time. Not their time, it's your time. Okay? And you dictate that. And by advocating for yourself, I think your health is going to be a lot better. And trust me, with kidney disease as it progresses, you're going to want to have all the help you can get. Might give you an example of a statistic. They say that in some cases of FSGS, it never progresses. Only 30% of the people don't progress. So 70% of the people that have FSGS will progress to renal failure at some point, but they don't put a time on that. They just say some will, some won't. There's a higher percentage that will, and there's a lower percentage that won't. And you're going to be in that high percentage, you better have a plan. And that's what we want to do. That starts with advocating for yourself, taking care of yourself. Okay, now that I got you thoroughly confused, I'm going to continue and talk to you about a real good friend of mine. I want to try to get these in on these podcasts because my friends are really important to me. They have been part of my life. I talked about my wife, I've talked about my kids, but you know, there are other kidney warriors out there defined as people who have had and experienced kidney disease that do a lot of good for the kidney community. And the fellow I want to talk to about today, and we're going to have him on at some point in time. I'm going to actually have him come on this podcast and talk with me. His name is James Myers, and I call him the social media guru. The man is 60 plus, one or two, give or take. He's had a kidney transplant 3 years ago for PKD. There isn't anything he doesn't know about PKD, and he's a self-taught fellow. He understands the disease process. He understands kidney disease, but what he really understands is the importance of giving out information that's good, solid, vetted, and available. This guy makes it really easy. And he's on Facebook, he's on Instagram, he's on all the things that Kidney Solutions is on. And matter of fact, we send a lot of our social media stuff to him so he can get it out to his huge, wide net. Got a huge following, and he's got several groups that he advertises for. I won't call it advertising, excuse me, that he works with. One of them is a veterans group. So if you're a veteran with kidney disease, you can get on that social media platform and talk and ask questions. And he monitors it. He also does Instagram. He also has a pediatric site. So, I mean, he's got several. I don't even know how many he has. I don't know if he knows, but he sure is a special man. And it would behoove you to go on and look for him. And it's James Myers, Meyers. And I don't think he'll care because I already put his name out there. So we're not going to edit this out. So trust me, this guy knows how to get your information out and about. And he's helped Kidney Solutions a lot. And we really appreciate him. Another thing too, he was an award winner. He won the SALIC award through National Kidney Foundation in 2018. That's an advocacy award for advocacy. He's very good on the advocacy platform, working with congressmen and working with his delegation. And he received the award from NKF, very, very prestigious award. So he's no fly-by-nighter. This guy doesn't fly by the seat of his pants. He knows what's going on. I would recommend highly that you go online and look him up. Go on Facebook or Instagram. If you can't find him, you can email me. I'll set you up with him. And he's a great guy. We'll have him on. I'm going to have him on soon, so watch for it. Okay, I wanted just to remind you that every day that you're up and about, every day that you're above ground, it's your responsibility to take care of lots of things. You have to be, again, exercising. Exercising is very important for your body. You got to watch what you're eating. You got to watch your weight. And you have to do what is best for you and in consultation with your physician. You can't go out on your own on these kinds of things and experiment. You're asking for trouble. So work with your team. If you're on a transplant program, if you're listed and you're working with a transplant team, my goodness, there's a wealth of knowledge with those folks. All the websites, National Kidney Foundation, AAKP, AKF, all of these organizations are good organizations to belong to, and they got plenty of educational material. You shouldn't have to rely on somebody's ideas. These are all vetted. They're all good places to go to get good, solid information about kidney disease. So I think that's about all I'm going to have for this podcast today. I did want to tell you about our website, and that website is kidneysolutions.org. You go on that site, and you can also go Facebook and Instagram with us. But get a hold of us, make contact with us, and for sure make contact with me, because I want to know how this is going. So my email address is Kent kent.bressler@kidneysolutions.org. KENT.Bressler, BRESSLER, at kidneysolutions, one word, .org. Write me up, give me an email, and my phone number is on the website. My phone runs all day long, so give me a call if you have questions. And in the interim, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take care of yourself. Keep breathing.